Visualization really helps us to think about where we are going, future, how are we going to take those steps. It's a timeline visualization. And those visualizations are really powerful, really powerful. So have a look. What is it? Do you really, really need to do that course? How is that course going to change your practice? What are you going to implement in your practice because of the course that you've done? So we need to think, what is it that it's going to change my practice? Is it recognized? How expensive is it? What are the outcomes? What are the outcomes for this course? Is it going to be that I increase my knowledge? Pediatric course, you're going to increase your knowledge. If you do the course, if you finish it, you will have increased your knowledge exponentially, no matter if you've been working with children or not. Hello and welcome. Mentoring with Geraldine is a bite-sized practitioner podcast for naturopaths, nutritionists, herbalists, and practitioners. This podcast responds directly to your needs, the needs of the practicing natural therapist. With interviews, herbal discussions, something business and something clinical each week, you'll get the variety you need and enjoy to stay motivated in practice. Hello and welcome to Mentoring with Geraldine and the Bite Size Podcast. How are you? And how's it going with you? What are you up to today? Or what have you done today? Have you got lots planned? And what's interesting? Thank you so much to the people who've been emailing me and messaging me, and to those of you that have put my podcast on your story to help me promote it. I really appreciate it, because as you know, this is aimed at the ingestive modalities. So your naturopath, your nutritionist, your herbalist, your homeopath, your ingestive modalities, the people who are trained in ingestives and who are out there helping others, helping them to feel better and get well. So that's why I'm here. And if members of the public happen to have stumbled across my podcast, welcome. So I thought I would actually talk about trainings and modalities today and where we get caught up in ourselves, because I do have the Pediatric Online Mastery course coming up, and I've got a lot of pediatric training because I was a pediatric nurse. So I started out as an adult nurse. I shouldn't say. In the UK, you can train in the different niche areas. So I trained as an adult nurse and then moved into pediatrics. So I moved into, I was in children, then I moved into neonatal intensive and special care of the newborn. Then I worked in intensive care. I worked in SCBU. I helped people with, I was breastfeeding consultant, so not the training that's here in Australia, however. Then when I got to Australia via New Zealand, back via New Zealand, I should say, when I got to Australia, I did the child youth health course. So I've got a lot of, and I worked in pediatrics, I worked in recovery. So I've got a lot of pediatric background, and as a naturopath, I've seen children and babies a lot. So with the mastery course, we have pediatricians talking on it, and we do have a speech therapist, and we've got others. So there's lots, a lactation consultant gives a talk as well. So there's lots on there. There's lots of information. You can easily look it up and check it out. But the reason I wanted to talk, I wanted to spruik that, but now I want to talk about all of the other things we can do. Because if you're anything like me, then you've probably got a lot of courses sitting there you haven't done. Or there's a lot of things you think, oh, I'd really like to do that. Shall I do it? Shall I do it? Shan't I do it? Shall I do it? Let's just take a step back. So when I qualified in the triple modalities. So back in the day, that's how you did it. And then I'd been out in business. My daughter was just stopped breastfeeding, and I was out in the world, and I was like, what shall I do? What shall I take? And then a friend said to me, why don't you do the lactation consultant's course with me? Because of course I'd done the one in the UK that isn't the internationally recognised one that's done here. And I thought, I could, couldn't I? That'd be a good idea. And then I happened to go to an osteopath. And I said, what do you think? Do you think I should do it? Because I was mulling it over. And his reply is, what are you going to do with it? What is it going to achieve for you? What will change in your practice if you take that on? Oh, very good points. Thank you very much. And I do use those now. I think, what is going to change? And so now I recognize, am I doing something for me because I just want to learn that thing? Or am I doing it for my client base because that's where my client base is, or where I want my client base to be? So with the pediatric stuff, if you're going to see children, even if not that many children, then you need to have some background training in it because you have to know what's going on. And there's lots of things like that are, I have to do this because I have to know more about this subject because at the end of the day, I'm going to end up treating these people. But there's also things you think, because I'm a hypnotherapist, so, I could do hypnosis training. So I'll use hypnosis as the example, but there's lots of other things out there. So with hypnosis, there aren't actually many courses at all that are recognised by the Australian Hypnosis Society. And you really want your training to be recognised by an association so that your insurance is valid, so that you can actually do what the sign hanging on the gate says you can do. So I'm a full hypnotherapist. I've done a graduate diploma in hypnotherapy, and that means that I can do, phobias and the pain and all these other things. I'm not a stage hypnotist. And I think that's the difference because there's lots of weekend courses in hypnosis, and basically they're teaching you to be a stage hypnotist. Is that going to help you and your business? What is that going to achieve for you? Could, in actual fact, you have a look at some really good visualizations for your client base and just use those? So I was doing visualizations with my client base for about 4 years before I did my hypnosis training. So I was really ready after doing those visualizations for that length of time with my client base to know, actually, it is time for me to take that next step, that next level, and become a hypnotherapist. So I did a year-long course. So we really have to know, is this course going to help us short-term or long-term? Is it something we need to pay out for right now? Can we think about it for a bit? Or is it going to be useful in the here and now? Like my graduate program, that's useful right now. You're in it. I'm educating you. I'm supporting you with your business. I'm answering all your questions. I'm making sure, I'm seeing you one-to-one. We're making sure that I'm supporting you with your clients, that you've got the answers for your clients. And that's in the here and now. So that is going to benefit you right now. And because of the education, it's going to benefit you into the future. With the pediatric, it's going to benefit you right now and into the future. With a weekend of hypnosis that cost you a lot of money, that you could have just done some visualizations with your clients anyway, is it going to benefit your client base? Is it something you're going to use all the time? Is it something that is going to make a difference to your practice, like that lactation consultant course that I thought about doing? Ultimately, since then, when I think about it, how long ago that was as well. So that was probably 12 years ago, so 10 to 12 years ago, I think this friend had said, let's do it together. And in that time, I have supported half a dozen women, lactating women. So I could have done that course, And those half a dozen women would their care have been any different to the care that I gave them from the simple course that I did in the UK as part of my neonatal training? Would it have made a difference? And I think when we look at some of these things, it's so easy to get sucked in. I looked at something online the other day. I thought, that looks good. I'll go and buy that. And so I actually I went and bought it. And it was supposed to be some cheat sheets. And I thought, all right, why not? It's only $27, 27 US dollars. I thought, okay, let's see what these cheat sheets are. They're rubbish. They're worse than my own cheat sheets. And I've just given somebody $27 for it because they had good advertising. Really? Geraldine? Settle, petal? I think that I'm not the only one. And I think if you think to yourself, you might go, I've done that. I've given someone the wrong, I've given someone who was rubbish money rather than investing in a quality course that's going to be worthwhile into my future. And I think that's really important. We had a challenge recently. So it was advertised in Strictly Education, and I advertised it in the other groups as well. We ultimately had 200 people on that challenge. And part of that challenge at the very beginning was a visualization. And that visualization I also did when I was at the NHAA meeting, and I think I'm going to deliver it again when I'm in New Zealand at the NZAMH conference, because that visualization really helps us to think about where we are going future, how are we going to take those steps. It's a timeline visualization, and those visualizations are really powerful, really powerful. So have a look. What is it? Do you really need to do that course? How is that course going to change your practice? What are you going to implement in your practice because of the course that you've done? I see people for hypnosis as a separate, they come to me, but the first appointment is still naturopathy because I still have to know all about them. And then we go into the hypnosis, and people don't like that. They want a quick fix. They want snap of fingers and it's all done. And hypnosis only works in that the person wants change. It can't work. It just can't work unless you want to change yourself. It's not a fix-all. I can't make somebody rob a bank if they don't want to rob a bank. So we need to think, what is it that it's going to change my practice? Is it recognised? How expensive is it? What are the outcomes? What are the outcomes for this course? Is it going to be that I increase my knowledge? Pediatric course, you're going to increase your knowledge. If you do the course, if you finish it, you will have increased your knowledge exponentially, no matter if you've been working with children or not, okay? Because it's very different. It's not just these, this is molluscum contagiosum and this is what you do. This is ear, nose and throat. This is, glue ear. This is what you do. It's not just that. It is all of the other component parts. We talk about sexualization and all of the other things in there. Okay, so what is it with a course that's going to change your practice, improve your practice, make your practice different? Maybe you're thinking of a kinesiology course. I did a kinesiology course when I was actually still a student. I was in my last couple of months as a student, and I did a kinesiology course training to be a kinesiologist. And I did just the basic level one. It was an introductory weekend course, and I was rubbish. I was beyond rubbish. I was the worst. I am the worst kinesiologist ever, I've got to say. Even a kinesiologist with their eyes closed, mouth gagged, hands tied behind their back is better than I am as a kinesiologist. But what I did learn was muscle testing. So out of that course, I have learnt something very, very useful. I've learnt muscle testing, which I describe, have on and off in the academy. And that's really, really useful muscle testing. But did I need to pay for that course? Would I have become a kinesiologist? No, I wouldn't have. I'm so pleased there was a weekend course for me to try it. The weekend course cost as much as the pediatric online mastery course. I got it slightly cheaper because, I was a student, but really, we do have to think, how am I going to use this? How will it change my practice? What from it can I implement into practice, or what will it improve in my current practice? So, because we all love to learn. If you're anything like me, you love to learn. There's so much you want to learn still, especially as I think most of us in digestive modalities are late bloomers. We didn't just come in straight from school. And so it's all about the learning. We can't stop ourselves. We're just, the research and the information, we just want to know it all, don't we? We've got the books, we've got the computers, and we just want that information. So just think, what's it going to do for me? What's it going to change? What will it improve? What will be the outcomes for me from doing this course? Okay, so I'm going to leave it there for today. If you've lasted all the way through, then please leave me a review. That would be lovely, preferably a 5-star one. And I really look forward to catching up with you very soon. Please share my podcast with others. Share it on your story on Facebook or Instagram so that other people know about it. Because, the more people, as with all of us, the more people that know about us, the more we support people, the better off we feel, because it gives us a spring in our step that we're helping people, but it returns the spring of the step to our clients as well. So have an absolutely wonderful rest of day, and I look forward to seeing you or hearing you soon sometime. Bye. Thanks so much for joining me today. Don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast for the weekly episodes. If you'd like even more support and learning, then the Academy is for you. Here you'll find part 2 of the herbal discussions, more clinical learning, and case studies to support your clients in practice. Bye for now.